Man is condemned to be free because once thrown into the world, he is responsible for everything he does. Freedom is what you do with what's been done to you. Hell is other people. If you are lonely when you're alone, you are in bad company. Everything has been figured out except how to live. I cannot make liberty my aim unless I make that of others equally my aim. We are our choices. When the rich wage war, it's the poor who die. Life begins on the other side of despair. Do not wait for the last judgment. It takes place every day. We do not judge the people we love. One cannot become a saint when one works 16 hours a day. Words are loaded pistols. I say a murder is abstract. You pull the trigger, and after that you do not understand anything that happens. Every existing thing is born without reason, prolongs itself out of weakness, and dies by chance. Commitment is an act, not a word. Freedom is what we do with what is done to us. It is only in our decisions that we are important. To eat is to appropriate by destruction. Only the guy who isn't rowing has time to rock the boat. Being is in itself. Being is what it is. Like all dreamers, I mistook disenchantment for truth. 3 o'clock is always too late or too early for anything you want to do. A lost battle is a battle one thinks one has lost. Better to have beasts that let themselves be killed than men who run away. The best work is not what is most difficult for you, it is what you do best. Nothingness lies coiled in the heart of being, like a worm. I exist, that is all, and I find it nauseating. We must act out passion before we can feel it. It is certain that we cannot escape anguish, for we are anguish. If a victory is told in detail, one can no longer distinguish it from a defeat. As far as men go, it is not what they are that interests me, but what they can become. The poor don't know that their function in life is to exercise our generosity. There are 2 types of poor people, those who are poor together and those who are poor alone. The first are the true poor, the others are rich people out of luck. Anxiety is the dizziness of freedom. I had found my religion. Nothing seemed more important to me than a book. I saw the library as a temple. Every word has consequences, every silence too. Try as you will, you cannot annihilate that eternal relic of the human heart, love. Life has no meaning the moment you lose the illusion of being eternal. I am no longer sure of myself, and the paintings appear as from a dream. Once you hear the details of victory, it is hard to distinguish it from a defeat. We are not what we are, and we are what we are not. My thought is me. That is why I cannot stop thinking. I exist because I think I cannot keep from thinking. Man is fully responsible for his nature and his choices. Man is always the same. The situation changes, but not the way he operates. Whatever he applies himself to, he will produce piles of trash. I should like to be the landscape which I am contemplating. I should like this sky, this quiet water to think themselves within me, to reflect their beauty in my own soul. For an occurrence to become an adventure, it is necessary and sufficient for one to recount it. I distrust the incommunicable. It is the source of all violence. You must be afraid, my son. That is how one becomes an honest citizen. That God does not exist, I cannot deny. That my whole being cries out for God, I cannot forget. A writer must refuse to allow himself to be transformed into an institution. One is still what one is going to cease to be, and already what one is going to become. The existentialist says at once that man is anguish. It is the most miserable ones who are the sweetest. When I choose for all men. Illusion is not the opposite of reality. It is a more subtle reality which enwraps the primary one. People who live are those who fight. The more one is absorbed in fighting evil, the less one is tempted to place the good in question. Man cannot will unless he has first understood that he must count on no one but himself. Our responsibility is much greater than we might have supposed because it involves all mankind. It is in the knowledge of the genuine conditions of our lives that we must draw our strength to live and our reasons for acting. To be free is not to have the power to do anything you like. It is to be able to surpass the given toward an open future. The best way to fill time is to waste it. Words are more treacherous and powerful than we think. To know what life is worth, you have to risk it once in a while. We do not know what we want, and yet we are responsible for what we are. That is the fact. Generosity is nothing else than a wish to be loved. If literature isn't everything, it's not worth a single hour of someone's trouble. Acting is a question of absorbing other people's personalities and adding some of your own experience. It is not your paintings I like, it is your painting. One does not undertake an insurrection in lace panties. All human actions are equivalent, and all are on principle doomed to failure. Mankind is a passionate machine. I have no need for good souls. An accomplice is what I wanted. What do I care about Jupiter? Justice is a human issue, and I do not need a God to teach it to me. The more sand has escaped from the hourglass of our life, the clearer we should see through it. We are left alone, without excuse. This is what I mean when I say that man is condemned to be free. I am not a liberator. Liberators do not exist. The people liberate themselves. Existence precedes and rules essence. The most important aspects of life are those which have dared to grope their way back from the world of abstraction. Fascism is not defined by the number of its victims, but by the way it kills them. A man who has not passed through the inferno of his passions has never overcome them. Chess is a sport, a violent sport. The whole in my life is in the shape of me. Each individual has his extraordinary, unmistakable, and unrepeatable shape. That is what keeps us separate from each other. Your freedom is the freedom from me. There may be more beautiful times, but this one is ours. Everyday life is what we are supposed to know best, yet it seems to flee the moment we want to strictly focus on it. From the moment absurdity is recognized, it becomes a passion, the most harrowing of all. A victory described in detail is indistinguishable from a defeat. Hell is other people's judgment. I was not the one who was crying, it was my soul that cried, and my soul is not me. The gaze of others forms my prison. No finite point has meaning without an infinite reference point.